I gotta flip this around.
Lyndon
Okay.
Labayan.
All right. Testing. Test. Hi guys, my name is Lyndon. I'm a software developer, hobby wedding videographer, and it's been a minute since I posted. Just a little recap here. Wedding season started early for me this year. A couple reschedules and like a last minute referral means my season started in March. So on top of shooting and editing and like working full time, obviously, being a dad is quite the handful in itself. So that's why I haven't had time to make YouTube videos. I still like making these, even though I don't really know what I'm doing. So this video, we're talking about camera bodies, and this is kind of a direct response to just, over the last year anyway, the only real consistent question I've been getting is about like, what camera should I buy, or what camera should I upgrade to, side grade, sell, buy, or whatever, and yeah, this will be that video. This is also kind of brought on by like, I guess with camera reviewers kind of losing their minds over Gerald Undun's take on, I guess on the space in general, but whatever. That's for another video. Yeah, just for some context, I'm a hobby wedding shooter. So I have my 9 to 5, and then I happen to also really like cameras, but I really enjoy watching and making wedding videos the way I want to make them. As far as the CRA is concerned, like I am a legitimate business, I'm insured, and they get their cut. What camera body should I buy? If I was going to recommend a camera body to myself, if I was getting into wedding filmmaking or wedding videography in 2024, without the nuances and the biases that goes into making purchases and these kind of decisions, I would recommend the Sony FX30 and the Lumix S5II. Money where my mouth is, I happen to be shooting on 2 Lumix S5IIs and a Lumix S5IIX. So I've got an S5II that's kind of bare bones naked. What is it called? The Arca Swiss plate. It serves as my B cams, locked off shots for first looks, ceremony, reception, stuff like that. Typically with a 7200. My second S5II is in a half cage. It kind of doubles up as primary camera and secondary camera. I would use it for gimbling, for ceremony, and locked off or handheld if I need to. The S5II is typically my handheld primary camera. I keep it in a full cage. I like the weight and the chunkiness that the full cage provides for the S5IIX. So that's kind of my setup. Now I'm using the S5IIs and the S5IIX interchangeably because they're essentially the same camera. Why the S5IIs and why the FX30 actually? Well, why would I recommend those cameras to myself? So I'm looking at 2, we'll say, categories of features. The first one being what I'm calling like overall image. And I'm not just talking about just how it looks. I'm talking about how it looks in camera while I'm shooting, how it looks obviously when I get it into the editing computer or whatever, and I'm actually grading, and how hard it is to get the look or the image that I'm trying to achieve. Now, I can't speak on the FX30 because I don't have it, but yep, gotta get a ball ready. All right, so I left off on the idea of like overall image and everything that goes into like achieving the image that I inevitably want, but it also comes down to how big are those files? What kind of media am I going to need? What kind of storage solutions am I going to have to worry about? Can my computer handle the editing? How much work goes into color grading? Like, I'm not a color professional or colorist, so I can only rely on YouTube and some of the LUTs that I like to lean on, which I'll talk about in a bit. But essentially, that's what image means to me when it comes to picking out one of these cameras. A lot of resources out on S-Log3, grading for like FX30, A7S III, but specifically for S5II and Vlog for Lumix, I heavily rely on Gamut.io's Rec 709 conversion LUT and the styling LUTs from Gamut as well. What are the 2 LUTs? Timbre and Adagio are 2 that I really lean on. I love how those look. So while I start with those LUTs, like I'm obviously trying to put on my own little flavor on them, and because I have those as like resources to be able to lean on, it's actually pretty easy to get the looks that I want. So the second feature set, or like category of features that I would focus on as far as like when I was upgrading or buying a camera, would be what I'm calling headache-free unlimited recording. That can mean a lot of things to different people, but to me, headache-free unlimited recording is kind of all the above that you might be thinking of. Battery life, generally good battery life, 1 hour, 1 hour of battery life on the settings that I like to use. I like to shoot in DCI 4K, 4K 60, 4K 24 for ceremonies, for receptions where battery life really matters for me. DCI 4K 24p. I will turn IBIS off and autofocus off if I feel like I really want to squeeze as much battery life out. Some ceremonies sometimes go 2 hours. Super religious ceremonies will go long. Speeches sometimes will go 2 hours. So obviously longer the better, but within reason. The hour to 1 hour and a half I get out of the S5II and S5II pretty good. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking about the S5II as a separate camera. I'm gonna just mention S5II, and you'll just know that I mean S5II as well. The S5II has technically no time limit recording as far as like a hard-coded arbitrary time limit of like 29 minutes or 30 minutes or whatever. It'll go as long as you have juice in the battery and as long as you have space in the card, so that's good. Temperature management and overheating in general. The S5II has a built-in fan and temperature management settings that you can turn on and off if you want to, but I personally have not ran into any issues on the S5II and S5II. I just call it S5II. I've not ran into problems with any overheating as far as the S5II is concerned. How many? 3 minutes? Yeah, last year I shot a wedding on the hottest day of the year. It was like 36 degrees, super humid, and like with the sun beating down on these cameras. I ran these things for an hour plus, and they did not skip a beat. So memory card and like battery aside, just being able to handle the heat and record and know that they're going to keep recording is invaluable. More cameras need to do that. More cameras with video focused features anyway need to do that. Some people might care about media types and the media settings for unlimited recording. The S5IIs have similar to like other Lumix cameras and other cameras with dual card slots. They've got the relay recording where you're able to pop one card out and have it jump to the next one, and then like when that one fills up, you put in whatever it jumps to the first one. You're able to take out the card that was just filled up. Man, what's wrong with my English tonight? A lot of videographers will really lean on the redundant recording, where it's recording the exact same file to both cards simultaneously. But during some speeches, again, 2-hour speeches, I don't got enough cards. This year I have enough cards, but like sometimes I won't have enough cards, and I will switch to relay recording. And when that one card fills up, and it pops to the next one, I'm taking that card out slowly just to not shake the camera, and I can trust that it's just gonna, jump back to that first one as soon as the second one fills up. Having that option to do redundant recording or relay recording is a great feature to have, especially for like this headache-free mentality that I'm trying to approach for this unlimited recording stuff. I guess the last thing you would talk about too is if image and all the things that go into getting the image you want out of this camera is met, and like unlimited headache-free recording is met, it comes down to price. Other than these two cameras, the S5II and the S5IIX and the FX30, there's nothing in the $2,000 range that can do what these cameras do. I'm not even going to talk about sensor size because I don't care about relative sensor size. You can get a great image. Any camera you get right now, whether it meets these requirements or not, you're going to be able to get a great image. Some you'll have to work harder at. For $2,000, the FX30 S5II, there's nothing else that I would pick up. And I'm really stuck on that $2,000 mark because, again, as a hobbyist, I don't look at these cameras as investments. I'm not buying any of these cameras thinking I'll be able to charge more. I'll be able to like quantify what this camera is going to be able to bring as far as like a return on investment. So I feel comfortable spending $2,000. Like if I book a wedding, I can drop $2,000 just because of what I charge. But it might not be the same for everybody, especially if you're a professional. I'm imagining a pro will look at a 3, 4, 5, 6, like FX3, it's like $5,000. C70 is like $5,000. I don't know any wedding filmmakers shooting with FX6s, but you get what I mean. If you're a professional, I would imagine the price doesn't really matter because you're going to look at it as an investment. You'll be able to book whatever X weddings, have it depreciate and write it off as such. But I'm ranting now. Anyways, so that wraps it up, I guess. Those are the two cameras that I would recommend to myself for like people in my exact same position or just starting out. You have a little bit of money and you want to pick up a camera and not have to like worry about upgrading immediately. FX30, S5II, call it a day. I'm currently shooting a bunch of S5IIs and I'm more than happy with them. I'm gonna ride out 2024 with these things. I was hoping for like an S1H Mark II or S1H successor, something like that, but didn't happen. Clearly S9 is not for me. S9 is not for people like me, but it definitely has its place. It's not for wedding videography. Anyway, all right, so that wraps it up. I just want to say thanks for everyone who's like reached out and like asked questions over the year. I'm not a pro by any means, but like I do take this seriously enough anyway where I want to do right by me, do right by the people who care about the work, and obviously my couples and other vendors who refer me. So thank you, everybody. I don't know who else is watching this. Also, thank you for anyone who's bought Gamut.io LUTs using my referral links. I've been posting them in my videos, and I don't talk about them, but a couple of you have bought them, and it's a huge surprise every time. So thank you. Boy, that S9 really ruined a lot of butts for YouTubers, hey? Like Gerald's video. Anyways, okay, we'll talk about another video. Guys, thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay, bye.